And welcome to Around the Ozark Spotlight. Each week we uncover the stories behind the people who live and work in Southwest Missouri, those individuals with entrepreneurial spirit, those who like to work to develop the lives of others, or even put pen to paper to write books about the stories and history of the Ozarks and its people. I'm Scott Meier, your host, and today we're going to explore the world of theater as we've got yet another program coming up, another show at Springfield Little Theatre, this one in the Heights. And with me today is a cast member, Ben Hernandez. Hello, Ben.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. ¿Cómo está, mi amigo?
See, now I wish my Spanish were better because I would love to be able to go back and forth, but unfortunately, it's not. But obviously, you're bilingual.
Well, we have to be. We have to be in the show. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm looking forward to showcase this piece of art to the entire Springfield community.
Well, let's get to know Ben Hernandez a little bit. You go by Ben, not Benjamin. I take it your full name is Benjamin.
Actually, my real name is Benigno, but it's so hard to pronounce in the Anglo world, so I shortened it out to Ben.
Benito is difficult.
Benigno.
Oh, but Benigno.
There
Okay.
you go.
How do you spell that?
Benigno.
Benigno. Okay.
Mom went to the hospital. She thought she was having a tumor. So the doctor said, hey, it's benign. So she just added an O, and that becomes my name.
So you could have been Benigno. You don't want that. We'll stick with Ben. And Ben, you were raised here in the U.S. or south of the border?
Actually, I am originally from Panama in Central America.
Great. I've been there. What a beautiful place.
Thank you. Beautiful country. Yes. Nice people. I came back to the United States at my early age to pursue my education in Thousand Oaks, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I continue working in the accounting field, which is my field. The theater is actually my fun part.
Sure. Absolutely. And you gave up the weather of Panama, the real Panama, not Panama City, Florida, any place like that, Panama, to come to Springfield, Missouri and enjoy the winter.
Well, you know how it is. I wanted to experience the cold. So in Panama, it's difficult to have snow. So the only way you can see it by opening the refrigerator or the freezer and say, oh, that's snow. I wanted to see the real thing. But after 3 years in Springfield, well, it's a little bit cold.
And Ben, the beauty of the refrigerator and freezer snow and ice is you can close the door and it goes away.
Exactly. Not here. You can close the door and you still be cold.
Now, I told you before we had a chance to meet visually. You sounded to me as though you were about 30 years old. It looks like you've been around a little longer than that, and that you've been in theater for quite some time.
Correct. I'm actually in my mid-60s. I've been in the theater approximately 30 years. I took a hiatus in California to pursue my professional career, and now back in Springfield, when I'm retired, I decided to go back and give it a try. So after 30 years, I'm returning to the stage.
So this is the first production you've been involved in 30 years.
Correct. My last production was in Los Angeles. I was Bernardo in the production of the West Side Story.
Right, which is great. We had it here at Springfield Little Theatre about 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was pre-pandemic. We measure everything now, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic.
Right, there's nothing in between.
Yeah,
since I came to Springfield, I mean, one of the things I have discovered in comparison to Los Angeles, which is really big in the theater, is that this community is really, really into the arts, and it's wonderful not to see the theater, but the symphony and the performing arts, the paintings, and everything else. It's great to be in a city like this.
Well, thank you. And I think we are very lucky to have a city like this. But I must tell you, after spending a little time in Panama and in Panama City, that's really a beautiful place. I would guess that you point a lot of people in that direction as a place to go and spend a little time.
Actually, yes, I do. My hairdresser just moved to Panama a month ago. They went, they visited, they fell in love, and came back and said, we're selling the business, find someone else to cut your hair. We're going to Panama. I'm going, okay.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a lot more than just the canal, which is fascinating in its own right. But we did some fishing there. We took some customers from Springfield there for a week. The food is amazing. And watching the ships line up to go in and through and out the other side of the canal is, you've got to see it to believe it. It's almost like a city in the ocean.
And actually, to make a story short here, when I was in high school in Panama, I went to an American high school. During summer, I was actually an interim as a tour guide, taking tour people from Panama City to Colón, which is in the Atlantic side, and
Hmm.
through the train. And it was memorizing to see the different nationalities, just seeing how everything works. And let's be honest, I mean, it's been what, more than 100 years, and it's still working with no
Sure.
problems at all.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing place, and as I say, if you get a chance, there's so many places south of the United States to visit, but Panama, because so many people speak English, makes it very easy to travel there. But the fact that people are beautiful, you can see monkeys and you can see city life that you would think you were in Paris or New York. So I mean, it's the extremes on either side. But let's talk about why you're here now. You're an accountant at Jack Henry, is that correct?
Yes, I work in the finance department for Jack Henry.
Okay, and that's a big company, Jack Henry.
Great opportunity. I mean, I was not looking for a job, and they came to me, and I said, "Yeah, pronto, I'll start working for you."
Wow, congratulations to you. What can you tell us about In the Heights?
Well, In the Heights, as you know, is a production that won a Tony Award. It was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which is the writer for Hamilton, Encanto, and some of the songs in Moana as well, some Disney productions. Um, it's the first time that we are doing something like that here in the city of Springfield. The cast is around 60 members. We are 14 countries that are represented in that cast. 13 from Latin America and United States, and one from Africa.
Really?
You have different array of ages. We have, I mean, the youngest actor is 4, and the oldest is in the 60s, 70s, and that's not me. Uh, um, the tapestry of the cast is diverse. I mean, it's wonderful to see there. The first time I walked in, I was asking myself, I'm getting into some acting again. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Yet today I can say this is my family. I mean, we are together. There have been some problems, issues, and things outside the theater. And as a family, we are coming together and helping each other out. So the production is wonderful. It's a love story. It's a story about a community trying to get together. And at the end, they realize that the only way they can get together is by helping each other out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reflection of what we need to do in our lives these days, I think. I mean, we seem to be, now after COVID, as you said, we seem to be more separated from each other. We're not having the time with our family, our friends, as we used to.
Sure.
In the Heights reminds you that you are a member of the barrio and of the community. And because
Mm-hmm.
of that, you are part of the tapestry that makes that community. And you are essential of anything that happens in that community. Everything you do will be benefits or will not benefit the community. So it gives a good prognosis of what we need to do in our life as a personal, as a family, or as a member in a community.
You know, it's amazing. We've said this before. My wife and I lived in New York City, New York City area for about 8 years in the late 80s and early 90s. Saw a lot of plays, obviously on Broadway and off Broadway. But having moved to Springfield about 8 years ago, our community theater, in many ways, some of the productions, including the one West Side Story that we saw, were far and away better than some of the off Broadway performances that we saw. And in addition to the play that goes wrong, we saw that on Broadway, and our version of it here was better. The actors were so much more relaxed and weren't working for the laughs. They were having fun. You could see it. But on Broadway, it was just the opposite.
I relate to that. Coming from Los Angeles and being in the theater there, I'll tell you that it's about work, work, work.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's work, but it's also fun. And besides the fun, we really get to know our fellow actors. Back in Los Angeles, hello, how are you? Goodbye, and you continue doing your own life. Here, hello, how are you? Hey, let's go for a drink. Let's go out to eat. Let's party. Let's watch a movie. It's more relaxed,
Sure.
and I really like it. I mean, I can say that I'm really close to all my cast members. I'm one of those that like to bring people to the house and wine and dine and get to know each other separately from the stage.
Mm-hmm.
it's giving me the opportunity to get to know these people, the young people. I mean, we have college people, we have moms and dads and grandparents and great grandparents in the show.
Well, it's got to be with 60 cast members. That's a big cast for that stage.
It is humongous. I mean, and that's not counting the tech people.
Mm-hmm.
A big production. The Little Springfield Theater, Lander Theater, as well as Mosaic, are really making a good production. They're trying to make sure that we relate a story, that we understand our Latin music. I mean, on that fact, usually the orchestra that we have in the different musicals are great, but we are bringing around 10 to 15 percussionists that will be playing the actual instrument that we play back in Latin and Central America.
See, that's what's amazing. Again, getting back to your home country, Panama is not Mexico. And I think sometimes people think Central America will have a very distinct Mexican flavor to it, and it doesn't. It's its own. Having never been to Cuba, but having been to the Dominican, it seems like it's a little closer to that. Panamanian food is not the same as Mexican food. It doesn't make it better or worse. It's different. So that whole Latin vibe is a thing that's part of Panama, isn't it?
Correct. I mean, it's sad to say, but usually it's a misconception when people say about, oh, you are from Mexico. That's what usually happens because everybody knows about Mexico, which is fine. Our Mexican family and friends are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But we are different. Each country is different. Each country offers good things and bad things. The music is one thing that keeps all our countries together, especially when you go more south into the Colombia, the Cartagena, in Peru, of course, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Dominican Republic. You know, everything is about the salsa, the merengue, the happy music.
Sure. Well, we took dance lessons not many years ago,
no.
and learned how to salsa dance. But I'm afraid my hips don't work quite the way they need to.
Well, I think you better take 2 aspirin when you come to see In the Heights, because believe me, I am happy to say that I am not a dancer, because some of those kids do things and I'm like, oh my God, I will break my finger if I do that.
So are you, let's talk about your as a cast member. Who are you? Who do you play? How do we find you? And what kinds of things do you do?
I am Kevin Rosario. I am the proud owner of the business in the barrio. I own a taxi company.
Okay.
My daughter is a smart lady, and she got a scholarship to go to Stanford University in California.
Okay.
It's her first trip back after the first year. My character is a very proud Latin man, but at the same, I'm very stubborn. It's my way or the highway.
You sound like a Latin woman.
Well, you know, what happened at the stage. My character is very loving to the daughter, but my daughter has done a bad choice in her college career, and it affects the whole family and the barrio. And because of that, and because I want to be, you know, as a parent, you all know, we do anything and everything for our kids, regardless if you're Latin or not, what part of the world you are from. When it comes to our children, we do anything and everything. And that's exactly what my character does. I want to do everything and anything to make sure that my daughter is happy, that my daughter will go back to college and pursue her career. Has many obstacles between the first note of the musical to the last note of the musical, but it's intriguing. It is wonderful. My character goes through a metamorphosis. I'm really, at the beginning, I'm really angry. I'm very stubborn. I hate the world, except for my daughter and sometimes my wife. But through the musical, you'll be seeing my changes in character. So at the end, I'm more subtle, more loving, more part of the barrio. I am there now to help rather than just to dissect everybody and anybody in the barrio.
Excellent. We're going to be back in a moment, Ben, and we're going to have a chance to let you explore with us a little bit more about your background, because I think that'll be fascinating to our listeners. You're listening to Around the Ozarks Spotlight, and I'm your host, Scott Meier. Back in just a minute.
Hey, everybody, it's Ethan and Sarah Forhetz from your favorite podcast, Around the Ozarks in 5. I'm sure you've been wondering, how can I get even more amazing stories, events, and witty banter to start my day?
Well, look no further. Here we are. Sign up for our daily newsletter. You'll have what's going on around the Ozarks right at your fingertips each weekday morning.
Yeah, just go to AroundTheOzarks.com, click on the newsletter tab to sign up.
Thanks for listening to Around the Ozarks in 5. We hope to see you in your inbox soon.
Welcome back to the second half of today's Around the Ozarks Spotlight. I'm your host, Scott Meier. With me is Ben Hernandez. Ben, I won't try to murder your first name. That's not fair to you. But leave it at Ben. It's all good. And Ben is one of the cast members, one of the lead cast members for In the Heights, which is the latest production at Springfield's Little Theatre, which kicks off, I believe, when? Ben, what's the date of the first actual production?
Our opening night is actually a week from today, Friday, January 26th.
Excellent.
Don't be late.
And tickets, I'm assuming, are like most of the shows at Springfield Little Theatre are going fast.
They are actually, I spoke with the people at the ticket booth yesterday, and tickets are going really fast. They're hot commodity in the city.
Well, I can't wait. We're going on Thursday night, which is the pre-opening night.
Correct.
And I got to tell you, those pre-opening night shows are great. It's amazing. How long have you and the cast been working on this production?
We start working in this in October.
That's amazing. Think about that. October, and here it is, January. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of, when you put a big production like this, there's a lot of components that makes the musical. We had to learn the music, then we had to learn the lines, we had to block the scenes, start working with the people, the choreography, the costuming, the music, the musicians, the ticket people have to be doing, the marketing people have to be doing everything and anything to promote the show. So it's a lot of work for everybody, but at the end, the goal is that we are putting a show that I guarantee you that will entertain you for 2.5 hours.
Oh, I can't wait. I've heard nothing but good things. My neighbor across the street actually is in the orchestra. He's playing trumpet. So he said it's a production that you won't believe. And that sounds exciting. Now, being in theater is a labor of love. There's no question. You're not getting paid. You're doing this because you want to do it. The show is going to run how many weeks?
It's going to run 3 weeks.
Okay. So tell our viewers and listeners what it's like for that last one. I mean, you've put all that time in. You've done 3 weeks worth of onstage performances. What goes through your mind on that last one?
It's a sense of pride, but at the same time, it's sad because it's the last show you're going to be doing. You'll be offering to the community with wonderful people. Mm-hmm. In my case, I'll be honest with you, I'll be a basket case. I have met many good friends from this cast. It's wonderful. But the last show, we're just going to go out there and give everything and anything because for ourselves, for our directors, and especially for our people who are there to witness everything that we put on the stage.
Yeah, it's so tough, isn't it? You put all that time in and it's over. Those 3 weeks go pretty fast.
I know, it goes really fast. I mean, we started in October and then right here in the middle of January, it's 1 week before the show. And we're like, wow, where did the time go?
Now, you showed up for auditions, having not been on stage for 30 years. What was that like when they said, hey, Ben, we want you to play this role?
Actually, that was very interesting. I met one of the directors in one of the galas. I'm also a board member of Grupo Latinoamericano here in Springfield. Mm-hmm. At a gala, and she was invited, and she approached me and goes, I like your voice. And I went, do you sing? Of course, no. So do you act? Oh, wait. And she's like, mm-hmm. So she went back to her phone, and middle of the night, she come back, you lied to me. And I'm going, what do you mean you lied to me? Okay, I found a video of you singing at church in California. And I'm going, oh my God. So she said, you better audition. And that's actually how she got most of the people to the stage.
Okay.
A lot of people that have not done acting at all before. I did, but I just, I was kind of shy, I guess. I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't know what's happening. But
sure.
Cast members, I would say 40% of our cast members are brand new to the stage.
That's excellent. And they're so good at directing them. I mean, is there a lot of choreography in this production?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, it's Latino. We have a lot of dancing, Chico.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of production numbers. I mean, one different than the other. There's some good ones. There's some that will make you laugh. Some that will really make you cry.
Oh, great. Could always use a good cry. So Ben, let's take a step back. We talked a little bit about your childhood, But give us your insight on Panama as a whole. You went through being 60 in your 60s. You went through some different periods there. What was that like at your age?
Well, it was quite different. Panama was under the operation of Noriega at that time when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough that I won a scholarship to come to the United States, and I left the country late 70s. But Panama is a wonderful country. Since that happened, and thank God that the Americans went there and cleaned that mess, and I appreciate that. Let's say that the country has moved forward. I mean, now we are one of the top banking countries in Latin America. We call the Dubai of Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I visited, I had never seen so many high rises in my whole life in the country.
The architecture in Panama City is like something you've never seen before anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I mean, if you recall, there's that one that looks like a
it looks like a big screw.
I mean, you sit there and you look at how do they do it? How will they stay standing? But anyway, going back to the country, I mean, the change have come for the best for the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as any other country, we have our problems, but we have learned that we don't want to go back to the old ways, that we need to move forward and trying to do what's best for our country and for our people.
Now, you have family still in Panama?
No, I don't. I only have aunts and cousins back in Panama. My family's here in Taos, California.
Oh, really? So do you ever go back or no?
I've been visiting every 3 months. My dad is 93 years old, so I'm trying to spend much time as possible before it's time to go.
But that's in California. I mean, do you find your way back to Panama at all?
I haven't gone. I'm going back to my 45th high school reunion here. And that's always fun because it's more like a carnival time. It's not like a big difference between the American and the Panamanian. In Panama, the high school reunion takes a week. And
really?
Encompass your family. It's like you go into a tour. You take tours with people. There's the night with the guys. There's the night. The ladies have the nights and the night together. We had the formal night. We had a family night. We have a picnic night, and we also trying to do the best for our community. There's a night that we all volunteer or whatever is needed in the community or multiple areas, and we go out there and help.
That has got to be a bit of a change for you where an area like Panama is all about family, right? And I would guess if you didn't leave the country's small enough where you're always pretty close to one another. Then you come to the U.S. and people scatter. You know, we've got my family personally. I've got a daughter in Nashville. I got a daughter in New York City. I've got a son and a daughter in the Detroit metro. And here we are in Springfield. I mean, it's we're separated by thousands of miles.
Yes, it is. I mean, I have my two kids are in California. They love Springfield, and I'm hoping and praying they'll move here. Mm-hmm. But of course, they have to do and they have to learn by their own. And that's one of the things that Panama, compared to the United States, offers. Even though the country is so small, we are so close. We're only 2 or 3 hours away from each other. We're here. It takes X amount of hours and times and days to get from A to B. But we try to do the best. We usually with my kids, we talk. Usually, my youngest calls me every day. The oldest calls me every other day. We have a good relationship. Mm-hmm. They all, especially now with the show, and they are coming to see the show. They're coming.
Excellent.
They're coming with their future wives.
Okay.
I haven't met them yet, so it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the laughter and the fun and the teasing that we do. The children, when they grow, it's a whole different. It's more like we're friends, right? I'm father son type of relationship.
Sure. Now, you getting back into the theater after 30 years, this can't be your last production.
Well, after what happened last night on their first run, when I was approached by 2 people from the theater and the accolades and the praises that came out, I'm like, well, I guess I still can do it. And I was very, because that gave me more power to be on the stage and do my job the best I can.
Sure, absolutely. But you into your late 60s, early 70s, keep doing it till you can't?
You know what? You're never old unless you want to be old. Mm-hmm. If I offer the opportunity to do this for many, many years to come, I'll do it. Especially in Springfield, you have so many opportunities, either here in our town, through MSU, through different companies in town. It's a great, great, great place to be at.
It really is special, isn't it? How does the city treat someone like yourself or your family? Do you feel comfortable here? Do people embrace you as Ben Hernandez? Do you ever feel like that's not the case?
To be honest with you, I was hesitant to come to Springfield when I made my decision to retire here. I have one cousin that is here. She got um, and I'm coming to a white country, and I don't know how they treat the Hispanic community. But I am happy to report that in 3 years that I've been here, I have never had an issue. The people right here that I live in Midtown in Clay Street have been wonderful. They have accepted the way I am, the way I talk, the way I laugh, everything they do. They encompass me in every single aspect of their lives. I have made more friends. I'm doing stuff here that I have never ever done in California.
Yeah, oh, that's great. That's great news, and I hope you spread that because we really are blessed. The only thing that frightens me about Springfield is, as a smaller community, it's going to get bigger. And I've lived in big cities. I've lived in small cities. I lived in New York City, and Springfield is just big enough not to know everybody, but it's just small enough to feel pretty comfortable and still run into a friend or two when you go to the grocery store.
And it's so true. I mean, in California, it's hello, how are you to the cash register. Here, you carry a conversation to the waiters in different restaurants we go. It's a sense of a family, a sense of a community, just like in the Heights. You know, we are in the barrio, we are working together, and we want everybody to be successful.
Oh, that's great. Are you currently already working in another show that is coming up, or are you getting close to that?
I already got approached by 2 different new productions coming in town for audition, especially for the type of my character. You know, in the Heights, my character, as I said, is not a nice person. I consider myself the villain of the story.
Okay.
So, and you know why. You'll see why I'm the way it is. And sometimes I just go back to the actors and say, hey, I'm so sorry I said that. You know? That's me, because I feel bad. I'm like going, I'm doing what I need to do on stage, but behind the scenes, I'm like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's why they call it acting.
Exactly. I mean, there was one time actually last week that we were rehearsing, and I'm just doing my part, and I just looked to one of the other cast members that was on the stage, and I'm doing my stuff and everything else, and that young lady is like, I don't know what to do. I know I have to stay on stage because I have to stay in character, but I was like, he's screaming at me, and I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
Oh, that's great. Well, it kicks off next week on Friday night. You said is opening night, and that's what's the date on that?
January 26th, Friday.
January 26th. It's going to run for 3 weeks. If you want tickets online, go to the Springfield Little Theatre, Landers Theater, and you should be able to find some tickets, although the tickets are going fast. And be sure, Ben, we want them to look for, what's your name in the production?
I am Kevin Rosario.
Kevin Rosario. So be sure to, I guess, should they boo you when you're mean?
Well, this is not that type of theater. They have to for me, hey, the villain has to have some praises sometimes, sooner or later.
Right. That's true.
Booze.
That's true. And you're enjoying your day job at Jack Henry, one of those companies that I think in Springfield, people hear of it, know of it, and not necessarily know a lot of the folks that are part of it. So now they're going to get a chance to do that.
Yes. I mean, Jack Henry is a wonderful company to work for, and they're very family oriented. So come and work for us too. And if you're in a theater and you know how to do it, and even though if you have not ever acted, look at 40 people from 60, come and try it. It's all fun.
I want to thank my guest today on Around the Ozark Spotlight, Mr. Ben Hernandez. Ben, who is one of the characters of In the Heights, which will debut for 3 weeks, beginning next week on Friday. And you'll get a chance to see Ben as well as 59 of his other friends that are part of the 60-member cast characters. I also want to thank my producers for today's show, Taylor Worley and Jay Stevens, and all of you for joining us. If you happen to miss all or part of today's conversation, you can always find us at Around the Ozark Spotlight on aroundtheozarks.com or the ATO app, which is found in either the Apple apps or the Android apps. There you'll find not only today's show, my conversation with Ben, as well as all of this past year's shows. I'm Scott Meier, your host, and remember, every day is a gift, the best present you can ever receive. Thanks again, Ben. Have a great show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.